Welcome back to Street Car Culture. In this episode, this little 323 is going to be using PSI. Huge shout out to Darian for getting in touch with me and telling me that he's basically got a B6 standard turbo kit from a 323 just sitting there, and he kindly gave me a ripper deal on it. And when I say ripper, almost nothing, but he didn't want anything, but we sorted him out with just something small. But so huge shout out to Darian. But basically I got a it's a custom intercooler, but sort of made to fit in the stock spot manifold, and a VJ14 turbo, a factory turbo ECU. He also we've got the turbo VAF, which I've already installed onto the factory airbox, so just so it looks all factory when I go for roadworthy. This thing's not going to be a power chaser, but I mean, for the deal that I got on this, it's a no-brainer to make it turbocharged. So yeah, got that. What else? Oh, the copper radiator. I had a plastic, really thin core plastic one before. This is he told me this is the turbo radiator, and it's quite a lot thicker, so I've installed that as well just to make sure that it does indeed fit. But yeah, I've pulled the exhaust manifold off, the NA exhaust manifold, which is sitting here, and then now we're about to fit up I'll put some fittings in the block for the oil and water feed, and then now we're about to fit up the turbo manifold with the turbo on it, fit up the lines, and then see what issues we come across. Alright, so I've just got everything sitting on there loosely just to make sure that we can get to everything. So it is. Let's go around there. No issue with that. I don't know if you can see, but huge shout out to Marcus from the race shop. He sorted us out with our turbo oil feed and water feed drain lines. When I purchased this kit, it had no fittings in it, and it didn't come with any of the factory, or came with a couple, but I was missing some, the factory hard lines and banjo bolts. So yeah, it was just super easy to go down to Marcos from the race shop in Melbourne, and he sorted it out within like 20 minutes. So yeah, I had all new lines, all new fittings, the right thread, everything. So huge shout out. And if you guys ever need any fluid transfer lines, whether it's fuel system, turbo, plumbing, whatever, be sure to suss him out at the race shop. Alrighty, so let's continue. Alright, so the turbo manifold, the turbo is mounted, the hard lines are done. We've done them tight just to keep it away from the exhaust manifold, and the reasoning, again, I'll explain the reason we went for these lines, is I couldn't find the hard lines with the factory banjos, so I could sort of just get it done and fit it. I went with braided lines. These are high quality, but yeah, I just wanted to make sure we keep them away so they won't kink, they'll be all good. So next on the list, now that the manifold's on and tight, is to hook up all the power steering with the belt and everything back up. I had to remove it because the factory manifold, yeah, I can't get to that bolt, so I had to remove the power steering reservoir pump, remove that bolt. Or was it that bolt? Sorry, it was that bolt. Couldn't get to that bolt. So but now this is all back on. Do it back in reverse, put the power steering stuff back on, and then we will look at where the cooler will mount. So yeah. Alright guys, so I've got the power steering reservoir and bracketry all back in, got the belt on, we've got the radiator fan on. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's a beefier fan than stock, so that's on the turbo radiator. So that's a turbo fan, I assume. Got the oxygen sensor back in, all that's hooked up. all the bracketry's on, got the radiator hose on. Surprisingly enough, the other radiator hose sort of fits, so I'm just going to run that for now, and then we'll have to order a new top hose. You guys can see it runs a bit different, so I'm going to try and run it under the hose, and then the hose will run into here. So the only thing left on the turbo is I've got to sort out the water outlet, which I'm going to run, I don't know if you can see, but I'm going to join it into there, and then I'm going to do the drain on the sump, which should be fairly easy. Yeah, so what I'm trying to do now is, so this is the intercooler that I got supplied with the kit. It's an aftermarket cooler, so it's a bit fatter, I believe. So the issue I'm having is I'm running AC, so you can see the AC lines that run right to the bottom there, and I try and get it in there. It fails on both AC lines, so I might just see if I can firstly the stock coolers are skinnier. If the stock coolers are skinnier and it'll bolt straight in, to be honest I'm probably just going to go with that, because this is only going to run factory boost because it's an NA motor, and I've been told the NA motors run pretty high comp from factory, like 9 to 7 or 10 to 1 or something. So this is only going to be on probably the factory 6 or 7 pounds with 98, which it'll be a good little peppy motor, but I don't think I'm going to need a big cooler for that. I'm not running 15 pounds or anything. Well, I say that, but I probably will end up running 15 pounds on the 85 or something, just for the sake of it. But yeah, this is sort of where I'm at. So, I mean, I could try and bend the lines. I don't know if you can get right in there. I could try and bend the lines out, but I don't want to snap a line because, yeah, that will just not be fun. And I mean, if you look how thick it is, probably don't need to run something that thick, but I'll check in once we've sorted something else. Yeah, for that. But look how cool it's looking. Now that's a turbo VAF, turbo gear, all the the lines I can't get to, turbo radiator, turbo fan. The dizzies are different. I do have the turbo dizzy, but I left it at his house, so I'm going to have to swing past and grab the turbo dizzy and swap them over. That should be pretty straightforward. Alright, it's been about a week later. Let's give you guys an update. I think we left off on like fitting the intercooler or whatever, I can't quite remember, but pretty sure that's where we left off at. Let's have quite a lot has been done. Let me put this in. Alright, so as you can see, we managed to fit the intercooler in. Just took a little bit of mucking around, but we got it in there, and I've still got the aircon pipe on. It looks like it's very close, but keep in mind that this isn't mounted, so I can push it back, and I pushed it back and it sort of misses by like just that much, so I think we're all good there. But we've got all the intake pipe done to the cooler. I was missing this piece, so I got that, found that. Got the little outlet welded up because this is a non-turbo car. We're not running that outlet there, so that's all welded up. What else have we done? Oh yeah, I've got, move that out of the way. I've got the turbo to cooler pipe all factory. I've got the turbo to cooler pipe all done. This is all factory piping. I wanted it to look factory under the bonnet. So yeah, that's done. Got the vac line done that runs from the intake to the wastegate. The water line's done. The radiator top hose is done. So this pipe here, because I want to run a blow off valve, and the rules can be a bit strict in Melbourne, I've run like a rubber hose down to this corner. Then I'm just going to put like a cheap blow off valve in there, just so it sort of is hidden away, and unless you look down there it looks sort of all factory. What else have I done? Got the intake hard pipe all done up. Yeah, so started filling it up with coolant. Still got to bleed it, But yeah, what's left? So the only thing left is to get some clamps for this and mount this, which is the VAF to the turbo intake, and then finalize this this hose down to there. So the hoses are different sizes, so I just need to adapt it and get the correct size hose. But yeah, so at the moment basically everything is done bar the pipe here. I just need some clamps, so that's no big deal. But oh, this is probably what you might have noticed. I managed to source a factory heat shield, so it looks all factory. Now when you're looking at this motor, obviously it looks, it's still dirty and not cleaned. So I'm gonna get all this fitted up, make sure it all runs and everything, and then my last resort, not last resort, the last thing to do once it's running is then to go through it all with degreaser and detail it all, get it looking as good as we can, poly paint the rocker cover, just get looking a bit fresher. But there's no point doing that now while I'm still working on it. But yeah, so new clamps were needed, everything's all tightened up. I'm actually happy that I managed to use the aftermarket cooler, because the more I thought about it, if this is a higher comp motor being originally NA, it might not make that much of a difference, but I thought to myself, having a more efficient cooler with the higher comp will sort of be beneficial rather than running the standard cooler. So I did source a standard cooler. I do have it as a backup, but I think with that one we'll be right, so I'll be able to use that and still have all my AC and whatnot. So yeah, all these are done up. So I was quite lucky to find all the original pipe work. Top bloke dropped them off for me. You're going to see him on a future episode, because I think we may have to do a couple more things to it, which he's going to help me out with. But so the only thing left is to wire up the fan. So I think I may have mentioned it earlier, but this fan is the all-wheel drive, or the four-wheel drive 2-speed fan, and originally this car only came with the single speed sort of fan, NA fan. So what I'm going to do is, I think the way this fan works is it has one speed, and then it's either if the aircon's on or it reaches a certain temperature, the second speed kicks in. But all I'm going to do is I'm just going to wire it so the second speed, when it would kick on as normal, the second speed kicks on. There's no low speed, it's just a higher speed. So it should, through this wiring, it should kick the fan on as normal, and then I just got to find which two wires is the second speed, and then I'll just have it running on the higher speed when it kicks in. I guess I don't see anything wrong with doing it that way. But yeah, super keen to get it started. I've got to grab some oil for it, but yeah, I thought I'll just give you guys an update. So the only thing I'm waiting on now is instead of drilling a fitting in to this sump, which I was going to do it if I had to do it, but I really didn't want to do it. If I can get you guys down there, probably won't be able to see too much. But yeah, I was going to do it, but I really don't want to do it. I end up finding a guy that had a factory alloy turbo sump, so I've got it sent from Sydney, and it should be here actually today, so later today. So yeah, I just figured having the factory outlets in a proper sump, there's no way it can leak unless the hose leaks, but it's under there, there's no room for error, there's no metal shavings in the pan, there's no, the fitting's wrong or anything like that. It's all factory. So when it goes for its roadworthy, there's also, it also should pass a lot easier. But yeah, I'll check back in when we've got the turbo sump, and then we'll fit it up, and then we should change the oil, then we should be right to fire it up. So I hope you guys are excited. Alright guys, so we just picked up the sump for the turbo conversion. As you guys would have just seen, I've been waiting on it for hopefully like today, which it turned up, and I haven't even unboxed it yet, but I brought it straight to the race shop. Big Marcos is going to look after us. So I think, I'll turn it back over to him, and he's going to sort out the drain for us, and then we'll head back home and fit it and see if we can fire this bad boy up.
How you going, everyone? Marcus here from the race shop. We've got Jason here and he's needs some help putting some oil lines on his turbocharger. We'll unbox and see what he's got here. We've already helped Jason out with some water lines and some oil feed lines, and this is for his oil drain on the
big B6.
On the B6.
Marcos is a rotor guy, so
yeah, I'm not used to playing with a
piston Mazdas.
A piston Mazda, but we'll have a look and see what we can do for him.
So you're seeing this sump the first time like we are.
Yeah.
So hopefully, is it cracked? Is it in good nick? Is it?
Yeah. We'll just check out the integrity of it and see whether we're working something that we want to spend money on.
Yeah, that's probably a good start.
And we'll see what we can do for him.
So from what I gather, that's the turbo drain, and then I just got to block that off.
Yeah, so we'll have like a silicone block off that we can use here.
Okay, perfect.
This is obviously where the sump plug goes.
Yep.
Yeah. So have you got that sorted?
Yeah, I've got one. I use one off the other pan. Yeah.
And then over here is nice and easy. We'll just match the turbocharger to suit this barb.
Yep.
Put some high quality silicone hose on there, some clamps and some heat sleeve.
Yeah. So the thing is, I just want to mention, I think you made sure I did it, but with the front wheel drives, because all the water and oil lines run really close to the exhaust manifold and there's not much room and it's really hot,
it's pretty tight,
you made sure that I put some of that sleeving on.
Yeah.
And so I think we might have to I think we'll be right here, but it is still close to the dump pipe.
Yeah.
So so with front wheel drives, just make sure you are doing your heat management, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Putting hoses there will get you, your delivery of your oil.
Yep.
But we want longevity too. You want to be able to drive the car for a while, turn key, and not think about.
Yeah, that's right.
I've got to change that in a couple of months because it's crisped up.
Yeah, and especially this one. Like I'm going to be road tripping this everywhere, probably around Australia. And the last thing I want is like a oil feed or water line to burst in the middle of nowhere, just because I didn't heat manage it.
Don't forget, factory cars have heat shields on top of factory hard lines and they're routed the long way. So when we go and build a custom car, we have to do the same thing. Just think about longevity, think about sleeving it, think about heat management for sure.
All right, so what I'm going to do is we'll start sorting out the line and then we'll come back and show the finished product, I reckon.
So we've chosen the best stuff we believe works for Jason's application.
My budget, 323 turbo build.
It's not always about budget. It's about what works. So if I can save you money and we can put something on there that works and I'm comfortable with using high quality products, that's what we'll end up doing. In Jason's application, we had a 40mm barb here, and on his turbocharger, we've previously measured it's a 40mm barb also. So the best thing to do here is to use some high grade speed flow hose, some heat sleeving, a couple of hose clamps. They're really high quality. There's nothing really cheap here that you can get, and that'll finish the job off nicely. His other goal was to block off that original barb for the other drain, so we used the 5-ply silicone hose bung, and once again another hose clamp will seal that off nicely. Another high grade hose clamp.
No, I appreciate it. Always getting me out of trouble. Always looking after us. So yeah.
Crazy, man.
So as his t-shirt is, the race shop down in Moorabbin. If you guys need anything. Don't be afraid to hit him up.
Cheers, man.
Top dude. And a rotor head.
Thank you. Yeah, I am.
All good. Thanks, brother.
See ya.
Alright, so I've just finished installing the sump. The VAF pipe's all done up. The intake's all done up. The dizzy, I've sort of just guessed roughly where I think I want the dizzy to be. What else have we done? I've hooked the idle air control up a bit better. I've blocked off the little, you probably see the little inlet pipe there that apparently is for the blow-off valve, I've been told. So yeah, I reckon we're set to get it running and hear it for the first time with the turbocharger. Just before I fire it up, just want to say a big thanks to a couple guys, Darian, Nikko, Gabriel, all sort of blokes that are into this platform that has given me a big hand, whether it be parts, constant messaging back and forth for advice and troubleshooting, etc. But yeah, so at the moment I've put fresh oil in it. But yeah, let's see what it sounds like. Alrighty, let's see what it sounds like. Keep in mind it's straight out of the dump pipe. I haven't hooked the exhaust up because one of the flanges is wrong. So I need to hook the downpipe and stuff up. But yeah, well yeah, this isn't the first start because I've been troubleshooting for a couple of hours, fixing up little things because it wouldn't idle. first start with the idling after I blocked off a couple of vac leaks and whatnot. So I secured the VAF a bit better.